Okay, go live. Okay, perfect. Let me double check if we are indeed live. I think we should be. Yeah, we are. Perfect. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Hello, Chaitanya. Nice to see you back. If you can just confirm that we are live, that you can see us, you can hear us, and we can dive in. I'm going to wait for the confirmation. I guess so. Yeah, yes, clearly. Thank you so much, Chaitanya. So you probably know who's on my left side. It's JV, our performance coach. You've seen him so many times on Discord and on our live streams. And we are going to be today discussing a very important topic, at least letting you know, according to JV, what's the best way to prepare yourself for the upcoming year 2026, to reach out the consistency, the discipline, and finally make it the year that you will become a profitable trader. Okay,
Yeah. How's everybody? Good morning on this side of the planet. Good afternoon in Europe and Asia. Good afternoon as well.
Yeah.
So, how are you, Jake? How's everything going, man, with you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Very busy lately, but still manageable. So looking forward to holidays, to have some rest. It's important, as for every trader, right? To just turn off from time to time, not be trading 24/7 all 350 days in a year. So yeah. How about yourself?
Absolutely, I totally agree with you, man. Now that you touch on it, talking about recovery and rest, and it's some of the things that most traders start thinking about during the end of the year, right? December, and usually towards the end of the month of December, which is Christmas, New Year's, and everybody's like a little bit more. Let's say the discipline gets a little bit more. Uh, how do you say it? A little bit, relaxed, more relaxed, right? In that sense, yeah, I think it's a great time to talk about and to think about how recovery and rest are important. One of the things that I've learned throughout the years and doing this plus 10 years, 14 years or something, when you're starting out, you're thinking that, more work, more study, more practice, more trading is usually the way to go about it. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being very productive. There's nothing wrong with studying a lot, having a lot of time on your back with the charts. There's nothing wrong with that. The opposite is true. Of course, you need the most time that you can get in your system, in your head, with the charts, with what you are trying to achieve with your trading is great. However, one of the things I remember I started thinking about, probably, yeah, this is probably 2014, like more than 10 years ago, is like, I need to go, man. I need to continue working. I need to continue knowing. I need to continue this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that at some point, after 2 or 3 or 4 months of just going, 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 I couldn't go anymore. And I'm like, wow. And you're thinking to yourself, because there's no one behind you telling you stuff, right?
Yeah.
That sometimes you're just like going, going. And I'm like, man, don't be lazy. You need to still get up early. You need to still work late at night during the weekends, blah blah. But at some point, there's only so much you can do when you're hitting that fringe, or that part in which it's probably not work, it's probably overwork, right? And it's becoming an addiction, and it's turning into burnout. And I'm like, wow, I realized that at some point you need to just let go and rest. Of course, we rest every day. A third of our lives we spend it sleeping, right? 8 hours, 7 hours, whatever. If you think about it in the long scheme of things, it's one third of our lives. we spend it in on a bed for
That's
sleeping,
true.
or
Yeah.
right, or just like recharging. It's like when you're trying to recharge your phone, um, you need to connect it every day for 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, to bring it back on with the energy that it needs, the electric energy that it needs to work.
Hmm.
So remember that everything that you see around, the cars, the phones, like all sources of technology, they're similar to what we are in that sense. So if your phone, or things that need to charge and need to rest to work again, that means that we all will have that as well as humans, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it is very, very important to understand that rest and recovery are not unproductive. Because when you want to achieve big things, when you're pursuing your goals, and we're going to be talking about purpose and goals and objectives in a little bit, but when you're pursuing your goals, you just don't you feel like resting and forgetting about those goals for a minute, for a day, for a week, for a couple of weeks. It's like, oh, you're betraying yourself, like you're not doing what you need to be doing. And then it comes the weekend, and you should be reading a book, or at least watching a YouTube video on motivation, or writing something on your journal. And when you're a high charger or a high achiever, you feel like you need to be doing something all the time.
Hmm.
And again, it's not wrong, it's not bad that you do things. The problem is when you achieve this point in which the more you do, the less you gain, right? And I know it sounds counterproductive, but think about it in trading. Like when you're trying to press to get money back, when you're in the losses, for example, when you're in tilt, or when you're trying to achieve a specific number in your equity, right? And you're trading more, the actual opposite is what happens, right? You're eroding your edge. You're just probably hitting buttons just to feel different or whatever, not to feel like a loser, blah blah. And you're actually coming down, like from an equity high or whatever, because you think or you feel like trading more is actually going to solve a problem.
Hmm.
And productivity, sometimes it feels like that you need to do something more, that you need to go ahead or beyond. So this time of the year, December specifically, and for most people it is like a cycle, right? 12-month cycle, blah blah. And everybody starts off in January. The number changes 2026, of course. And it is important to know and to remember that rest, recovery, recharge, it is a must. It is not,
Yeah.
I would say it's a non-negotiable. And let me tell you, let me confess, it's something it's hard for me to rest. Those times when it's time at night, when you are unwinding and everything, and you feel like, oh, oh man. And I look at my watch, it's like, oh, I have 15 minutes free. And I feel like, oh, what should I do? Because all day you're going, 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 like you're on duty. Like since you wake up until
Hmm.
you fall asleep, you're on duty doing things and achieving and trying to learn and connecting and doing. But the thing is that if you really take the time to rest, recover, and reflect on what you're doing and what you want to be doing the next year, in this example, it's much better, because productivity comes um, much better, much clearer when you're relaxed, not when you're
Hmm.
forcing things, right? And this is something that in my experience has worked great. When you go out and feel better, and you go out, have some fun with your friends, or go to the movies, or go to dinner, or just go, work out, or for a walk, or in a short trip, or go see your family or friends, whatever you do to just disconnect, and you come back a day later or a week later, and you notice that you feel different,
Hmm.
that's when productivity starts to jump back, right? Like,
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And you basically almost answered the first point that I wanted to start with, which is be ready, like how to get ready for the next year. And someone in the chat actually asked something that we could bring up before, which is I'm going to just read the message. JV, how do you deal with not meeting those yearly targets that you said? I feel I didn't do much this year, but
Mhm.
I made a lot of progress as compared to the last year, but
Mhm.
didn't hit all my goals. So basically, before we go into the new year, like dealing with the feeling I didn't do much this year actually, like
Yeah.
having this feeling that basically uh, drags you down. Is it not going to be the same next year? I mean,
Right, and you know what? That is such a great topic, and
yeah.
that's such a great question for the person that asked it. It's great because every year, I don't remember a year in my life, and excuse me for putting myself into the example, but I don't remember a year since ever, right? Probably since I was in high school or whatever, that I
Mhm.
ended the year in December saying, "Man, I did it. Oh man, I'm the king of the world,
Yeah.
man. This was the year." I don't remember it. Probably I felt different 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I don't know. Or the last year, or 3 years ago, I felt different from what I feel today or this end of the year.
Mhm.
But let me tell you, when you're pushing hard, it's difficult to feel that you have achieved to specific thing. Because I don't remember who said that when you're, I think it was Einstein or I don't remember who said that. I think it was no, hold on. I think it was Bruce Lee. When you're, aiming for the moon, but you can't reach it, maybe you're gonna hit some stars or something like that. I probably butchered it, but the
That's
thing is
nice.
that
Yeah.
when you're aiming high, there's and specifically in trading, right? When we cannot control the outcomes ever, no one can. But you're aiming high, but you're gonna still reach out to or reach a new high in your performance. That's a good thing, and that's something that us as traders and in the lens of performance we need to understand that we
Mhm.
need to define the game in a term that or in terms of easy winning, right? If I measure myself from the perspective that I needed to make $1 million this year, right? And I made, let's just use an example. And I did not achieve that, but I made $500,000. Let's, put it as a hypothetical example. And I feel as a loser because I didn't achieve that specific number or that specific equity high or that specific account size or whatever, and I feel that I didn't make, a good job, or I feel like a loser, or, this other guy made, $12 million and I can't even
Mhm.
break the million mark, whatever. Or if it's, in the 100,000s or in the 10,000s, right? Oh, my friend made, 20,000 and I barely could make 5,000. I feel like a loser. But this is your second year in trading. You need to understand that number one, it's hard to compare your journey with any other, because you can compare if you're in your second or third year to somebody that has been doing this for 20 years, right? Or if you have put, and we can measure in the amount of time, if you have put 200 hours in your trading in the last 3 years, but someone in the last 3 years have put 2,000 hours, compared to your 300 hours, they're going to have a complete different outcome, right? So you cannot compare how much other people are achieving or not achieving compared to what you want to achieve or what you have achieved. So in that sense, I would suggest to describe the name of the game in which you can always win it. And in that sense, measure yourself in performance. Do not measure yourself in outcomes, right? And every high performer in the world is going to tell you this. Reaching a goal, like an Olympic medal or a very specific title in golf or sports or something, is just a symbol, right? Most Olympic medalists, after working super hard for 4 years, 8 years, all right, two Olympic cycles, and then they perform for 2 minutes after training for 4 years, and they instead of getting the gold medal, they got the bronze or the silver medal because they were 1 second or 1/10 of a second behind the first place, how do you think they feel, right? It's like you poured yourself into like everything, like training 8 hours, and we're not Olympic medalists, of course, we're traders, it's different. Those guys go real hard, in their physique, they go really hard with their habits, with everything in their life changes. And they perform for 2 or 3 minutes or whatever, sometimes a little more. But if they even when they reach the goal, right, and the gold, and they get a gold medal, they feel like empty afterwards. And it's something that happens to a lot of them, not all of them, but to a lot of them. They're like, okay, now what? I poured myself into this thing for 4 years, 8 hours a day. I refrain from doing this and seeing my friends and doing all those other things, and I just have this piece of metal, right, in my bedroom, wherever, and I got this metal.
Yeah.
And this is the only thing I have. But however, if they get into a world in which their winning is their process, they're becoming of someone else, being better from what you were before, right, yesterday or something, the whole entire game changes.
Yeah,
Because
comparing it to wherever you
yeah,
were yesterday is the saying, no? I think so.
exactly. So if you answering the question to this person that just asked, if you're
Hmm.
feeling down because you're looking back and you're like, wow, in January or February I was thinking of making X amount of money, like let's say it's 1,000, it's 10,000 or $50,000, and you're short from that, or you'd even get close to it. Please pay attention to the other things that change in your life, right? In your process, what changed? Were you able to fix the mistakes that are not making you profitable? Were you able to work better on your beliefs? Were you able to work better on your habits? Were you able to work better on the way you manage your thoughts or your trading routines? That, I think, that is the question, right?
Yeah. And
And
I'm
and
100% agree with you, because let me just add, because I think most of the traders are taking this as some sort of a rush game to, setting up mostly unrealistic goals and want to make it happen as soon as possible. Like with the traders who basically get into trading simulated accounts, and they're not being able to pass. So they basically being sad, or being not traumatized with not passing, not getting the payout, but they don't realize that actually pass the evaluation at least. Like that is an achievement at its own. So
Mhm.
sometimes finding anything in that journey might be beneficial than just turning to the negatives. I didn't get the payout, but yeah, you at least passed the evaluation. There's something
Yeah,
you can be proud of, and it proves you it
absolutely.
is possible. Just let's figure it out,
Yeah.
let's
And,
improve, and you get it next time.
and listen, it's always going to happen. I know traders that have made $30 million and they're unsatisfied,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh my gosh, and they're looking up to the guy that has 200 million, and they're like, I'm a loser. I was like, man, come on, like $30 million anywhere in the world, any city in the world, you're a multimillionaire and you're living like really well. But it's not about the number. It never is. It's about the feeling, right?
Yeah.
It's always about the feeling. So when you're pursuing something for the symbol, right? Because you want to showcase a screenshot of $5,000 payout, or you're MetaTrader with all blue colors or all blue numbers, just because you want to show it to the world, because you feel you need that, to put that for to feel significant, which is not a bad thing, of course, but the right reason to do it is because you want to put your things out there. That's fine. But if you want to to get acknowledged, and you feel that your value as a trader, as a person, has to do with the people doing this to you, you're probably confused. It's not wrong, but people probably get really easily confused with what that means, versus the actual work and the actual feeling that you need to get from yourself, right? Because when we're in live streams, when we're sharing something in social media, it's great when everybody is like, okay, I did this, I did that. But the grind, the Monday to Friday, the New York Open, London Open, Asia sessions, like when you're journaling, when you're doing the grind work, like when you're doing this all the time, nobody else is doing it and nobody else is watching it but yourself. I mean, you
Mm.
probably have a couple of trading buddies, or we share stuff in the community, but 80 or 90% of the time it's your own, it's yourself. So you
Yeah,
have
a guy actually said it in the comment section. He said it's due to social media comparison, which is actually very true. Like people are comparing to whatever they see on Instagram, the shiny Lamborghinis and luxury lifestyles, holidays. For most of the part, it's just not true at first. And
yeah.
second, as JV said, you should not be comparing yourself to others.
Yeah, and listen, I'm all up for the nice cars. I love cars. I love the exotic cars and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with showcasing your lifestyle on the internet. It's fine.
Mm.
It is always the reasons why you're doing it what matters, right? If your reason is significance because you need to feel significant to do that, right? And you need like appraisal from people, and like, oh yeah, you're a great trader, blah blah. It's probably a confusion, and let me elaborate on that. um, I know people. There's this guy, his name is Lance, and he's one of the best traders out there, man. He has a verified 100 million, um, 100 million verified profits, right? A track record.
Yeah.
And he's really good, blah blah. But the thing is that you don't see him with a $200,000 watch, or you don't see him driving a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, blah blah. Although he could afford many of those. The thing is that he's into education, he's into helping traders. He is like, and I'm not saying that's the way to go about it. Like everybody should do that. That's his style, and that's great, right? Other people are a little bit more. Um, Vocal, or a little bit more loud in their style, right? And they like being, the lifestyle and everything with the cars and such
Yeah.
things. But in my experience, when I've talked to both types of traders, the ones that are usually the most successful and they're the real deal are not on that side of the lifestyle. They have everything. I know, traders that are worth, hundreds of millions and have ranches and everything. And you see them in the street and they're like, wow, this guy's probably not even worth, $100,000. They're, wearing Crocs and not even a watch. But it's what, but there are people that have been doing this for many, many years, and they realize that the actual feeling that you get of making 100,000 or, 5 million in one trade, it's like no different from your first win when you have like a
Hmm.
really good trade and you make a couple of $1,000s. It's no different. And it makes you think like, wait a minute. One of the best trading coaches out there, her name is Denise Scholl, and she coaches people from you know PMs, like portfolio managers of billions of dollars, like not retail traders like us, like portfolio managers that are managing 2, 3, 4, $5 billion portfolios in big companies, right? And she coaches them. And one of the things that she was saying in a call, a few months ago, is that the feelings that those people have, and the questions and the doubts and the all the ups and downs that those guys have compared to the things that happen to a person that has a $5,000 account or $100,000 account, whatever. It's no difference. And man, when I heard that from her, and by the way, if you don't know who she is, have you ever watched the show Billions?
Yeah, I think most of the traders did. It's
Okay,
really
so
famous. Yeah,
that's the real life character of Wendy, the
yeah.
the
The performance coach Wendy Rhodes.
performance coach. There's a real person behind it actually, and so well, this lady in
So it was basically written on true story, like with her. Like she was given the insights to the show, how to basically
yeah, yeah,
how this
actually,
works.
she was interviewed
Really?
for the show, and when
Yeah.
and listen, when the show came out, it was so realistic. It was so close to reality that she had to sue the producers of the show because she said, "Hey, this is my life. This is what I do. This is the things that I say in the coaching call,
Okay.
blah blah." And she got into a like a legal argument there, like many
Yeah.
years
Didn't
ago.
know that. That's a good fact. That's a
Yeah,
good.
you
Didn't
can
know
look it
that. I
up.
like the show.
So one of the things, so whatever she says, you can say that, or you can actually take it for for real, actually.
Hmm.
So one of the things she was explaining is that all these big portfolio managers managing hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, moving positions around, the feelings and the experiences and the doubts and the constraints that they have are no different from the ones that we have as retail traders,
Mm.
managing you know 10,000 or 100,000 or $500,000, which is a lot less than 100 million, right? And I was thinking, man, like in that group, like crazy and good, like if you manage to get over all those hurdles of your thinking, the problems or the errors that we have with our thinking, our beliefs, and all those things, you could be managing as much money as you can imagine, right? And that's the goal for anyone doing this business. If you're managing right now $10,000, or if you are managing of your own money, or 2,000, or if you have $500,000 account with E8, that's great. That doesn't mean you're going to stay there, right? And other thing that I would say to this person that was asking, like how do I how do I deal with this feeling of not achieving what I was supposed to be achieving this 2025, which is the number 5, which is a great number, spiritually, blah, like okay, fantastic. How do I deal with those things? Is like, it doesn't matter. You keep going. That's what matters, right? Because at the end of the day, if you define this game in a way that you can always win it, regardless of the number, right? You're always going to be pursuing that being better from what you did yesterday. And that's the performance side of things. It's not just the psychology of, oh, think bigger or think better of yourself or just, stay stronger or keep discipline, which is okay. But I think it's outdated um, advice, right? In the sense that we don't see the performance side of things. We only see the, oh, be disciplined, be patient. You need to follow a system and not derail from that. But when we think about the context and the other things that, if you're trying to trade, for example, with a feeling of pressure, with a feeling of I didn't make enough this year, even though you probably did well, but you
Mhm.
feel like you did not make enough, you're gonna press in weeks like this one, right? And if you're, for example, trading the S&Ps or the NQs, the Nasdaq, you will see that the manipulation from last week, from this week, is just at all-time highs, man. It's just incredibly hard, right? I've been looking at these markets for 14 years, and it's almost funny to see how big the manipulation is. Like you see yesterday, the FOMC just jumps up to the daily, and I'm just playing it for my memory. I don't have the chart here, but jumps up to the daily liquidity, and everybody's like, "Ooh," cheering, like, "Okay, the bearish market is over." And then overnight, it drips down, like
Yeah.
declines very sharply to grab some liquidity behind or underneath all those lows that I was assuming they were gonna be taken from before the FOMC run, but they didn't. So, and you look at the chart, and it's like this, man. It looks like an EKG, which is like the heart, the heart rate monitor that they put, looks like this. It's just crazy. The manipulation is just out of control. And if you're trying to press Pressing means that you're actually trying to make it happen with a number in mind. If you're pressing in these kind of markets, you're just gonna you're against the wall. You're against the ropes. Because remember, even though if you're managing a couple million or $10 million, whatever, we are the small players. Even if you're managing millions, you're a small player. Let alone if you're managing a couple of thousand or 5,000 or 500,000. We're the small players, and you need to keep that in mind as a trader. So it's okay. It's okay to take your time and define the game in a way that you can always win it by the process. And we're going to be talking about
Yeah.
process at the end of the call. But yeah,
That's good. That's a good question. I just wanted to say when we were talking about the luxury cars and all of that, that I don't think, in my view, and I stopped doing it to like watch YouTube videos of flashing YouTubers flashing the cars or those rather motivational videos, because in my view the motivation is like short term, is not going to last long, right? You get motivated, you get to work for 30 minutes, then you get rid of the motivation because it's fade away in 30 minutes, and then you're left with the same feeling that you had before you watched the video. So that's I don't know, what's your idea, what's your view on it, but I stopped basically watching, unsubscribe all of the channels that are just sharing the flashy cars and that, because for me motivation never worked. What is it in your case? Do you watch motivational stuff? I mean, like
we all need it. Yeah,
influencers
absolutely.
flashing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But I think, Jagan, that's a great point. I think we need to understand what motivation is, right? Because if I stop, someone from the street and I say, hey, what is motivation? Anyone or 99% of people are going to be like, yeah, like feeling good and, excited and jolly and strong and, eager to do something and in a good mood. Like
Yeah.
motivation feels like that. Or you maybe think of a group of people jumping around in a room, like a speaker like Tony Robbins, just, jumping, and everybody's like
Yeah.
motivated. Like you get that
Yeah.
idea, right? Or you get that picture. However, motivation in reality, from again the perspective, from the performance perspective, has to do with one thing, which is motive. In motive, it's reason, the reason. So there's two things about motivation. On one side, the motivation that you feel when you're excited, when you're elated, when you're in a high, like emotional high, you're you're happy, like you're motivated. You could be motivated, man. When I go to the movies, I'm very motivated because I'm happy. Like I love going to the movies, right? I'm happy, I'm motivated, right? Or when the sun is out and I'm jumping the rope in front of a river, I'm motivated because I feel good. It's a feeling, right? When
Yeah.
I'm losing, am I motivated?
Not really.
You could say that maybe not. When I'm seeing my stop loss hit in the first couple minutes, I'm like, should I look like motivated? Probably not. To the naked eye, you're not motivated. So there's two things, or there's several layers in the terms, or in the motivation meaning, right? First off, forget about that. Motivation is only about being happy, jolly, excited, and feeling high.
That's
Those are
my
the
view of the motivation, basically.
Right.
Yeah, as
Those
you
are the
said.
things, of course. But remember, emotions we cannot control. Feelings
Hmm.
we can control. Right? If I start calling you names, if I say, "Hey Jay, you're a da, da, da," and we're friends, you're gonna feel like you're gonna be like, "Hey man, what's going on?" If I call you names right now and say, "Hey Jay, you're a fool," blah, you're gonna be like, the emotion you cannot control it, right? But if I start calling you names in another language and just saying words just like that, you're gonna be like, what is this guy talking? Because you don't have a meaning attached to it, right? If someone insults you in another language, right, you're gonna be like, hi, what's going on, right? But if it's your language, you're gonna be like offended, like, hey, what, right? It's the meaning.
Hmm.
So the emotions we cannot control, but the feelings we can, right? So when I
And
say
is that a trick to disattach the feeling from the
yeah,
motivation?
the meaning, man, the meaning and the separation. When when you have when you have an emotion coming, for example,
Mhm.
you get a loss, right? A very those quick losses when you're waiting for the entry, and you're like, okay, this is the, this is the entry, or this is the spot. You click buy, and then it drops in the first couple of minutes, and you're like, you're feeling it, like the emotion is coming up, right? If you interrupt that pattern, right, and you add to it the explanation that it's just another trade in a big sample, you might be able to break that interaction between, to break that link between an emotion becoming a feeling, right? An emotion of
Mhm.
anger or an emotion of disappointment becoming um, feeling like a loser. If you interrupt that communication of those two things, you don't have to feel like a loser. You're like, okay, what is this thing teaching me? Oh, okay. So, the market is trending, and I thought the market was consolidating. I need to learn about this. I'm not a loser. I'm just learning. And then you feel like you're performing well. You're becoming better than yesterday. And that's a feeling. The emotion, you can, like, I cannot control my emotions when I lose. So when everybody's like, hey, to be a better trader, you need to control your emotions. Yes and no. Because nobody can control your emotions
Yeah.
or your own emotions. You, however, can control or can change the meaning of those emotions that are called feelings. Because I can
Mhm.
have ten losses in a row, and I can feel like, okay, this is my slingshot. This is the way, I have too many no's. Now the yes is coming, right? Or you can feel like you're the worst trader in the world, and you can give that that event the meaning of, I have no edge. I've been doing this for a year, 10 years, whatever, and I'm the worst trader in the world, and I need to, jump off a bridge. You can do those two things, and the event is the same. It is the performance mindset. It is the difference from the good, the great, the bad, the good, and the great, right? That makes actual difference in these kinds of things. It's the meaning that you give to things. And coming back a little bit from what you were asking on motivation, it's the
Yeah.
same. Feeling good is one thing, and there's physical things that you can do to feel better. Working out, eating a good meal, talking to a good friend, being with your girlfriend, whatever, like good things that make you feel good, breathing
Mhm.
out, opening the window, breathing out, walking, watching a nice movie, listening to good song. Those things motivate you. Watching a video, David Goggins video, running and dissing you and saying, hey, you piece of shit, you need to get out. It's like, oh yeah, I need to. Like that motivation is good to get your blood
That
flowing to feel good.
that what I was talking about, like this type of a motivation that works a little bit like a dopamine. Someone actually said it in the chat. Well,
Mhm.
basically, he said the key drive for the motivation has to be strong because motivation is like dopamine. That's what I thought when I brought this question. Like watching someone, as you said, David Goggins or any other influencer, just trying to hype you up. But in my case, like now in my case, in my view, it feels like a just a quick dopamine which could fade away really fast, and then the fall is as twice hard than it would be normal
Right.
without the
But
motivation.
I totally agree. However, if you divide it, it was like, okay, I'm motivated because I feel well.
Hmm.
However, when I don't feel well because I'm in the reds, or it's just not a good day because you didn't sleep well last night, or maybe you had a fight with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, or it's just dark out and you're not feeling well just because hormonally something's going on with you, right? Anyone has it, and you don't feel motivated. There's something that you need to grab on, and that's called motive. It has to do with motivation. What is motive? It's the reasons. Why are you doing this,
No
man?
reason.
The reasons. Like, are you doing this because you want a quick buck? Are you doing this because you want to post, a payout screenshot on Instagram? Are you doing this because you really, really, really want that new car? Are you doing this
Hmm.
because you're becoming a person that can overcome anything in your life?
Hmm.
If that is the case, or if you're doing this because your wife, your husband, your children, your mom, your dad, your sister, brother, whatever needs money for an operation, right? That's a reason. Your motive is much much bigger than any feeling of you know enjoyment. I can
Hmm.
feel I can feel I can feel happy when I'm working out because I feel the blood pumping up. I feel good. I had a good shake, blah, blah. I feel good. But does that mean I feel motivated? Not always. Because if I don't have clarity with my
Then
motive,
is it not rather discipline than motivation? When it, when you now described it, it feels like more like a discipline to do it rather without the motive, not without the motive, but without
Mhm.
the dopamine effect from the motivation, but rather like having the reasonings. You're getting to basically the transition from motivation to make it a discipline. No.
Exactly. So the motive gets you down, not gets you down, but gets you grounded. Like, okay, I remember my motive is my family. And my family is going to be there, is going to need me, if it's a Monday or if it's a Sunday, or if I'm feeling good, if I'm not feeling good, if I'm in the losses, if I'm in the red or I'm in the green, they're going to need me anyway. They're going to
Yeah.
need me to perform. They're going to need me on my best. They're going to need the best husband, the best father, the best, brother, sister, whatever. Um, and they're going to need me regardless of how I feel.
Yeah.
My trading career needs the best of me, needs the best of JB every single day. Can I give every single day my best? Maybe. But listen, there's a big difference of doing your best. There's actually three things that I just learned from a great book, actually. It's called Inner Excellence from Jim Murphy. And he's talking about the three different things of best or of levels of being the best, right? The number one is being the best. Are you being the best? So if you're not in trading, if you're not a trading champion or the guy that has $100 million, you're probably not the best out there, right? And even that guy that has $100 million in verified profits is looking up to the guys that have billions. The George Soros or the Paul Tudor Jones, and are like, oh man, I'm never gonna be like them. So being the best of something, it's incredibly difficult. It's just a few people in the world. Like think of Formula One, being the best driver in the world. Lando Norris, he just made the championship a few days ago. Man, how many years has he been trying to be the champion? I don't know if you follow F1, but I think if the guy is 24, I would say he's been trying to be the champion for 20 years because he started out really early. No, I'm not kidding. Like
Really?
when he
Well.
started driving for McLaren, how is this his seventh or eighth year or whatever of
Mm.
really really going at it, man? Because you're in the most competitive arena in the world. So which is Formula One, and you can lose by a millisecond. You can lose the championship. It's just
Yeah.
one distraction or one mistake on all those 24 races in the year. Anyway, so being the best is one thing, right? The next thing is doing your best. Doing your best. Sometimes, yes, it requires for you to feel good. And when we're talking about trading, you need to have also the market conditions aligned. It's the right time of the day, it's the right time of the week, it's the right time of the year to be applying this strategy or this system, blah blah, or trading this market or this other one. Are you doing your best in that sense? And the other level is giving your best shot, right? Which I believe it's more doable than the other two. Why? Because giving your best shot when we're trading, you don't have to be trading for 8 hours every single day to have your best results. But sometimes giving your best shot today when you're not feeling great, when you're like, oh man, I didn't sleep well, I have so much work, this and that thing is happening in my life. But today, this next hour or two, I'm going to give it my best shot. Man, when you do it, that feeling when you did your best shot, even though probably you didn't come ahead on your numbers for that day, but you did not move your stop. You did execute your trade when you said you were going to do it. You respected your risk management. You respected your rules when you said you would. That feeling beats the guy that's making 100 million if he is not feeling well. And that's what we need to be focusing on when we're talking about performance. Why? Because it is sustainable. If
Yeah.
I told you, Jake, you're going to be the best trader as soon as you hit $20 million in profits, all right, maybe you believe it. But I assure you, I give you my left arm that the time when you get to 20 million, you're going to be like, you know what? Maybe we should hit for, for 30 million or 50 million. Because it's not the money, man. It's not the money. There's a video, Andrew Tate. I have my comments about that guy. I don't think I'm not gonna say any comment about that guy, but the one thing that I just want to mention is that he draws a lot of attention to himself,
Yeah.
and he started out as, I don't know exactly how he made his money, but I know he's a multi-millionaire, right?
Mhm.
Probably a billionaire. I don't know. He has hundreds of millions of dollars. And he recently posted a video that I just was scrolling on Instagram and saw it. And it's like a 1 or 2 minute video. And he's saying that, I have the millions, I have the cars, I have the mansions, I have the trips. I'm sure he had the relationships as well, or the girls, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, and you can tell from his way of speaking, the way he is moving, his body language. He is like, he's not like he doesn't feel well. He's like
The ghost.
bored,
Yeah.
like when you're bored,
Both.
like
Hmm.
bored. And he's saying like, guys, you know what the best feeling is when you're pursuing something. When
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
he's saying something like the best time of your life is when you want something, when you want that car, when you want that win, blah blah blah. Because, and I know he's talking from his heart, man. You can tell he's saying the truth. Is like, because when you have everything that you want, like that money can buy, and then you find out that no, like there's nothing else to buy out there after having the most exotic cars, and having beautiful women, great homes all over the place, all over the world, the fame, the fortune, blah blah. He's like bored. Like, so
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
goal?
I
I'm
mean,
not
I had
saying,
literally the same. Sorry to catch you up. I had literally the same from Jimmy Carr, which is the British comedian, and he said that basically the most enjoyness, or you enjoy the pursuing the stuff that you want, not when you have all of this stuff, but the pursuing the progress that you do. That's
yeah,
what you're enjoying.
exactly. And at the end of the day, they say it's about who you become.
Hmm.
And also, very, very important, who you serve. You always, I mean, if you really want a life of, achievement and significance, it's great when you focus on something outside of yourself. I'm not saying you should forget about yourself and not think about yourself and not try to achieve things that you want. Of course not, of course not. Those are things that you need to pursue as well. But when you're focusing on helping someone else, or doing something for someone else out there, even if it's your own family, it doesn't have to be a big community of 1,000 people or millions of, it can be your own family, or your friends, or whatever. It doesn't have to be hundreds of people. It can be, I want to do this for my grandfather or my grandma or my sister, my brother, my friends, whatever. And you want to help him and you want to give him an example. Man, that is way more fulfilling than buying a nice car.
Yeah.
I can assure you that. And I'm not saying buying a nice car is a bad thing. Absolutely not. Please go ahead, and if you have the money and you have the resources, please experience that, because it's great, right? The thing is that when you realize that your motivation, it's a motive that it's way more, like way deeper than everything material. It's a meaning that you give to things. It's a meaning that you give to what the things you do. And trading is just it means to that. Then the game changes. Then the losses change, right? Then
It's-
everything has a different optic. Everything has, like, it's like when you put glasses on and you see everything with the different optic, and then You don't care if this year you didn't make X amount, and you don't care if it's going to take another month or another 10 years. You don't freaking care, man. You
That's
have,
so many. Sorry to cut you off. There's so many good questions in the chat.
go ahead, go ahead.
We would be probably here for like another 6 hours to discuss them all. So I
I have
think
all
this is
day
going to be like a multiple part series till we get to the new year, and maybe even
for sure.
in the January, to provide some practical tips from you to basically kick off the 2026 as a completely new trader, a better
Yeah.
version of yourself. But I'm going to react to a few questions, and the most recent one that I saw also on Discord is basically traders who are failing an evaluation after evaluation. And
Mhm.
I think we reacted to the same or pretty similar question last time you were hosted on Discord. What
Yes.
traders should do? I mean, failing evaluation one after another, not getting to the similar final stage, even if some traders get there, then basically not achieving the payout. So, the non-stop process of failing evaluation after evaluation, how to deal with it. Would you stop, give it a time, try to just start from level one, just completely restart the game, or what would you do if you'd be in a position of a trader who's failing evaluation after evaluation, not getting the goal?
Okay, that's a great question. And actually, it's funny you say it because next week we're gonna launch. We're not gonna launch. We're gonna be talking very short videos on managing drawdowns, right? And if you're
Mhm.
think of not hitting a goal on evaluation accounts as a big drawdown, right? When you're failing, the first one, the second, the third, the fifth, the 10th is
Yeah,
like a drawdown in your own performance, even though you're resetting, the evaluation is like a drawdown in your own performance. So
exactly.
next week or the following week, we're going to be presenting what we call the 8 Simple Ways to series. It's a video series. And the first one we're going to do, it's 8 short videos. And I'm reading here. And the first one is managing drawdown. And I'm just going to give you a very, very high level view on what the 8 videos are about. It's very, very simple and short. The first one, it's understanding what a drawdown really is. The second is making sure you have sound risk management. And I'm going
Mhm.
to elaborate on this one in a minute, right? The third one is risk management adaptation. Like when you're in a drawdown, right? You need to adapt to what's happening. Of course,
Mhm.
the fourth one is understanding the market environment. It's crucial. Like I was saying, like if you're pressing in this market environment, at the end of the year, it's usually very difficult to trade. It's been like that since I can remember. And with the things that are happening economically around, the world and everything, it's even harder. And you look at the manipulation, it's out of, like you need to be really, really good if you're day trading, for example. Even if you're swing trading, it's also really freaking hard. Anyway, the secret to profitability dial that I call frequency. Of course, that's, man, frequency is so underrated in trading. It's so big. Frequency. It's the amount of, the amount of trades you take. Your
Mhm.
frequency, it's a dial. Think of a dial, right? Like how many more trades or how many less trades should I be taking to achieve that goal? Then we have focusing on the process, trading for the right reasons. We talked about the right reasons. And at the end of the series, we're going to talk about reframing what a drawdown means to you, right?
And this
So
year is going to be where?
it's
That's going to
called
be.
the 8 Simple Ways to series. So it's 8 short videos, right? You're going to be looking at them, watching them on Instagram and other social media outlets. And it's 8 short videos on different series that we're going to be using and sharing with people so that we understand these other aspects. And this specific one, the first one is we'll be talking about managing a drawdown. But let me address that in specific manner, since people are asking a very, very important question about how to get out of that rut of
Yeah.
evaluation and not finishing, or evaluation fail, 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 fail.
Yeah.
So First of all, of course, I would ask these traders, do you have an edge? Like, do you have a proven edge? If you're just gambling, if you're just clicking buttons and expecting to have a big win to pass your evaluation, I mean, yes, you could pass it, but think about the trading afterwards. Is that sustainable? It is not. I wouldn't say
By
probably not,
edge,
but it's not.
sorry to jump in. By edge, you mean like a strategy, solid strategy?
Yeah, edge.
Yeah.
Remember,
Okay.
it's a proven statistical advantage. That's
Yeah.
basically an edge, right? From the mathematical perspective, like if you know well your edge, and you have a 50 or 60% hit rate, and you have a positive expectancy of, let's say, 2 to 1, 3 to 1 on most of your trades, you're going to make money. And we're going to delve very, very deep this on in the next year in the program that we're going to be talking about at the end of the call. But the thing is that you need to make sure that you have a sound strategy or system, because they're different, right? um,
So just let me stop just briefly here. You wouldn't go for the evaluation till you have proven that you have the edge. So testing on trials or demo accounts, your strategy, if it has the win rate, if it has the profitability, and then you would go for it as a first point of
Yes, that's one
how to get
that's
from
one
single.
route. That's
Yeah.
one avenue you could take for sure. However, I can almost assure you that most traders that are trying this is because they're very, they're doing really well on demo. They grab a demo account and
Yeah.
they, $1,000 or 10,000, and they make 20,000 in just a few days.
Mhm.
That's good. However, what exactly are they doing in these demo accounts that are getting those great results? Probably things that you would not do with real money, most
Mm.
likely, right? In most of the cases. So if you want to really, really get edge, you need to write down what you're doing. Like, okay, what's your plan? What's your trading plan? And we don't need to write, all of the aspects of a trading plan, which, by the way, it's 10 different aspects in a trading plan, right? And we can talk about that if you want. But the thing is that
Yeah,
if
let's finish.
if you only have, certain rules, and
Mhm.
those rules describe one trading model, or one specific setup that happens in one specific market type, let's say directional or consolidating market, and you have one specific setup, and you're executing on that specific setup only, and you have positive expectancy, meaning that you have at least a 50% hit rate, right? Or win
Yeah.
rate. And most of your trades are, you know, uh, 1 to 2, or let's say 1 to 1.5, 1 to 2, or 1 to 3, you're going to make money,
Risk
right?
reward ratio, you mean?
Risk reward
Yeah.
ratio, right? So if that is the case, it's unlikely that you're not going to make money. What gets in the way? Again, the reasons. Why are you trying? Why are you failing one after the other? Because you're in a hurry.
Yeah, the rush. And then with
Rush.
the
Or
rush,
the
opening two
one
big
thing.
positions and trying to pass the evaluation one lucky trade and so on.
So so if you want, we can jump into the number 3 thing that we wanted to discuss today, that has to do with
Yeah.
habits, right? Um, if you want, I'm talking to this trader that has failed 2, 3, 5, 20 different evaluations. I'm talking to him or her. If you want to pass your next evaluation, think about the reasons why you're doing this. Number one, and has to do with, of course, your vision, your purpose, your goals and objectives. We're going to talk about that in a minute, right? And how to write them down and have a specific layout of things that should be done, right? However, think of your trading this way. You are not, and I'm going to say something that people are going to be like, what? You are not trading to make money. You are trading to trade well, right?
That's a good one. Hmm.
And I say this every morning, and I have it right here. in my purpose statement that I read every morning. I already know it because I've been reading it, like for many years, but I'm gonna read it to you out loud. Well, I know it. My job is not to trade, but to find high quality setups and accept risk fully according to my rules. Nothing more, nothing less. I trust my model and I trust my decisions. I focus on trading well. I say that every morning, and amongst other things. I'm going to
That's a
say it
really good
again.
one.
My job is not to trade. My job, but to find high quality setups and accept risk fully according to my rules. I trust nothing more, nothing less. I trust my model and I trust my decisions. I focus on trading well, right? Listen, I know that you want to make money, and I'm talking about to this. I'm talking about this trader. I'm talking to you, man. I know you want to make money. I know you want the payout. I know you probably have, you owe some money on your credit card or credit cards, or you want a new car. You want, to pay off your whatever, right? Or you want new vacation or stuff like that. The moment you are trading to solve that problem, you the market owns you.
Yeah,
The market
100% agree.
owns you
100% agree.
100%. If you read the stories in the Market Wizards books by Jake Schwager, right? Every time a big trader, I'm talking about traders that have been doing, had been doing that for 20 years, millions of dollars. And they were like really, really good, flipping accounts and making hundreds of millions. The moment they wanted to buy something specific and make money for that specific thing, they blew up all the time. Like every time you talk to someone that's pursuing something very specific, like, oh, I want to make this, money to buy me a new computer. And that is your goal for this next trade,
Yeah,
the market owns you. The most likely thing, it's like, think of it like a 80-20% bet, in which of course you hold the short end of a stick with a 20% probability of making money. Why? Because your mind, your perception is skewed towards risk. You're
hmm
willing to accept enormous amounts of risk in exchange for low quality. Think about it. Think about it. It's like if you're paying, I'm gonna sell to you this coffee for $200. This great Starbucks coffee. Would you buy it? And we're like, no, man, that coffee is $4, not 200. That's what you're doing when you're betting against, you know, low quality setups, poor conditions, and you want to buy something. Man,
Yeah,
you're on the wrong side of the market most of the time because of that.
that's actually for the failure. Yeah, I said it with the Joe on podcast. I said basically you can't be trading with the need of needing the money because that's where you basically fail.
And
There's no
it's
other
and
way
it's
around.
and it's so real, man. And of course, you switch to a demo account, that is, $5 million, and you're, making money left and right. And why? Because you're relaxed. Of course, you don't.
Hmm
It's a demo account. It's like a video game, right? There's no risk.
Yeah,
There's no consequences. There's no responsibility. But when we put money on the line, even if it's, $10 or whatever amount, right? If you have that money in the back of your head, there's responsibility. Oh, there's leverage. Oh, there's
yeah.
consequences. Oh, there's risk. And we act completely different when
I
there's
mean, the money should come the last. I compare it to. Have you seen the movie Enigma? Like when
Mm.
they wanted to crack the code of in Second World War, and I'm just usually
Oh,
trying
I
to compare
I
it.
remember which one.
At
Yes.
first, you should try to crack the market, crack the code of the market. The money come later. Just focus on cracking the market, figure out how it works. Then
Yeah.
once you have the strategy, once you have the code, then add the money.
Yeah. And listen, Jake, it's so important that you just said that, because everything that happens to you in the markets when you're trading, especially
Mhm.
especially in the first few years. But it's not only to the people that are starting out, and I'm gonna explain why. But especially when you're starting out, everything that happens to you in the markets in the beginning is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Let me elaborate. When you're losing money left and right, and when you're not, when you feel like you're in a hole and you can't get out, the more you try to get out, the more you sunk or sink in, right? Um, it's because you're doing things in the wrong way and for the wrong reasons, because you really, really want to do it. Like, think of trying to get a new friend in, at school or something, right? When you approach somebody and you're like, hey man, how are you? Hey, good man. And then you're start to, have a nice conversation. Maybe the other person likes you and opens up and you have a good conversation. But if I don't know you and I approach to you and I say, hey man, do you want to be my friend? I'm like, oh, sure. Why? Because I really need a friend. Oh, yeah, but hey man, but can I buy you something? Hey, can I give you a hug? You're really like, hey, wait. Like, what's going on with you? Think of that as you try and push a button because, oh, this is going up. Buy. Oh fuck, it was going down. Okay, sell. Oh my god, it's going up again. Okay, buy. Oh my god, I blew the account. There's no
Yeah.
quality in your setups. And the thing is that when you're bypassing all those reasons why you're taking a trade, and the number one reason why you're taking all those decisions is because you need the money, it's
Mhm.
a never ending cycle. You're going to
Yeah.
be in that cycle for another month, another year, another 5 years. If you don't get out of if you don't see that this is a cycle that can be easily ended, if you focus on trading well. What is trading well? Finding an edge, understanding, things that have to do with, with your win rate, of course, things that have to do with the way you actually engage the markets, which markets you're engaging, um, your rules, like all of those things that we're actually going to be teaching next year in the Trading Performance Mastery Program. But when the reasons are the right reasons, right? When you're like, okay, market, I'm here. These are my rules. I'm going to wait until these things happen and this hypothesis on my trade turns, true, to engage this market. And you will be amazed how the market responds to that attitude. Like, oh my God. Oh, TP, nice, because you're trading well. And guess what? That's going to make you feel well. And when you feel better, you're going to trade better. But when you're dissing yourself and you're saying, oh my God, you stupid moron, you made that trade again, and you're talking to yourself like that, even if you don't say it, but you're thinking about it, man, it's not performance. You're just, it's not the way you should do it. One of the lessons that I wrote for module one has to do with self-talk. You're all the things that you say to yourself all the time. It's called self-talk, right? And there's two different types of self-talk. One is mind chatter, which is involuntary. Like, your mind is like a blah, 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 all the time is thinking and saying stuff. And self-talk is voluntary. Imagine self-talk is like, imagine you're coaching your best friend and he started out in trading last month. If he takes a loss, are you going to call him like moron, stupid, you're not, cut out for this, blah blah? Of course not. He's your best friend. You're going to say, hey man, don't worry, you got this, it's just a loss, you're going to do better next time, you just need to pay attention to this thing and that thing, blah blah, keep on going. That's the way you need to talk to yourself all the time. And that's a performance trait, and that's a habit, a habit of high performers, because it's not about the loss, it's about what you make of it. When you have a loss, and man, let me give you an example. Last week I had a very turbulent week in trading. I was like, and on Friday I was feeling angry, man. I was like, damn it, man, the market owned me this week. Like, literally, it happens to everybody, right? So I went and man, I was, you know I was journaling and I realized that my playbook, which is my setups, is not as clear as it should be. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to understand this. Blah. Oh, and I started like having another, evolution in in my trading, in the way I plan my trades, in the way I look at setups, in the way I look at market types, right? And it opened up like a new, imagine like a new room in my brain. Like, wow, I didn't see it. And I went back during the weekend, look at the charts, and I started realizing all the things that for the last 10 years I hadn't seen. And I've been doing this for more than 10 years. So imagine what you can find out, and imagine what you can discover if this is your first year, second, third year, right? But if you have that habit, if you have that um, idea in mind and that purpose in mind of getting better every day, doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter if you lose money, doesn't matter if you feel like shit. If you have that in mind, regardless of the time, you're gonna, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're gonna become good, and you're gonna be making what I call the storm. You know what a storm is? I can hear you,
I
man.
was muted. Sorry. Yeah. What was? Sorry. Can you repeat that? What was
And you're gonna be
storm?
making a storm. Yeah, a shit ton of ridiculous money. Okay.
Is it slang or?
Yeah, no, I just made it up.
Oh.
But no, yeah, it's not out there. If you say, "Oh, you're gonna make a storm," you're gonna be like, "What?" No, it's just something I just made up. So
Okay.
yeah, but has to do for the right reasons, and it's just so important to see it that way. So if you want to start out 2026, on the right with the right foot, think about it that way. I am buying this new evaluation to do the right thing, which is trade well, accept risk, manage risk well. I'm not in a rush. And I know it freaking hurts to say I'm not in a rush. I don't need the money. I know it's counterintuitive for us traders because we love winning. We love the money. We love it. And it's fine. But understand that the more you detach from those things, the better trader you're going to become.
Yeah.
If it's your first year or your 10th year, same thing. I know traders that have great accounts and they're in their 15th year and they wanted to reach a very specific number and they burn because they fell in love with just a number in their heads, which is completely sometimes irrational, and we lose perspective. Oh, I have $9 million and I won 10 million, and then they draw down 4 million. I remember this billionaire guy from Denmark. I don't remember. He was a multi-billionaire, and he was actually playing the markets with family money, and he had, I think, $12 billion, billion with a B, and he went.
The family money.
Yeah, or the company or whatever. I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up. And he was 12 billion worth, and he made some financial decisions that made him lose money, and he went from 12 billion to 9 billion. So he felt so bad, such a loser, that he jumped in front of a train and killed himself. But he was still worth $9 billion, right? So again, it's not the amount of money, it's not the result, it's not the outcome, it's the feeling that makes you do things. I can feel great if I make $25 today, like as an example. Now, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about an hypothetical example. Somebody can feel great by trading well today, waiting for your setup, managing risk well, adding to your winner, making $55 on your trade, call it a day and move on. That is a good feeling. Remember, you're building feelings, you're building a career, you're building habits. I was finishing module 4 of the program yesterday and was talking about career longevity. Man, this is a long run, 20, 30 years. 10 or 20, think about it. So if this is your second, third year, man, nothing is nothing pays you really well. And I'm talking about really being paid well in the first 10 years. Nothing. Unless you're doing something illegal, or unless you're an outlier that does something like very, very well, you get really well paid in the first few years. But all the people that you see out there that are been doing this for, that are really getting paid, been doing this for a decade. So if you're
Mm.
if you're in your second year and you're crying over spilled milk because you have failed 3 4 evaluations, brother, I'm not saying get up and not cry. I'm just saying just focus on the right things. Focus on your
Yeah.
performance. Focus on doing the right things for you, for your trading, for your family, and your goals.
Yeah,
That would be
that's
my.
very
That would be
true.
my.
Very, very aligned. I think our time ran out, so we
Yeah.
at least
Wow.
got,
Well,
I think, into the first, maybe second part of where we wanted to get. So we're gonna be continuing with it. At least I hope you've learned something from today's JV talk. There was a lot to learn actually,
yeah.
and I really like the last tip with like not thinking about the money. If you're gonna start fresh next year, try to think about cracking the market rather than how much money can I make, and just try to think about trading from different perspective, as JV just
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
And I know
said.
it sounds easier
Yeah.
said than done. I agree. Just think about the perspective. And now that we have a couple of weeks before the start of the new year, just consider
Mhm.
this idea. Don't adopt it. I'm not saying you should believe this. This is your new belief. Man, you know, ask or consider scrutinizing everything that you hear from everywhere, from anyone on the internet, you know, including us. If I say something like this, scrutinize it as well. Criticize it like, okay, what is this guy saying? That I should be trading well instead of focusing on the money. Is that something I really believe? And think about it, reflect on it. In my experience, is what works. What I've seen from the top performers in the world is what all of them or most of them say, you know, look it up. You can do that, but just really consider it. If you don't think it's the right way, just put it out there, consider it, reflect on it, and maybe you can adopt that belief as well, because that is empowering, it's motivating, it's long term, it's sustainable, and it feels good. In my experience, for me, for some other people, they're going to be like, okay, this guy's not, it doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm focusing on building my $1 million. Man, if that is what drives you and that is what makes you work hard towards your goals, phenomenal. That's great. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying doing the things for the right reasons. Number one. Number two, focusing on the process. Number three, when you forget about the outcome, when you detach from the money, the outcome, you know, all of the things that you need to get out of your system due to significance, that's when the real results start to pour into your life. So this time of the year is good for that, to reflect, recover, resting, recovering, watching Netflix
And
is
coming
not
back
productive.
fresh.
Starting fresh,
Yeah.
get better habits in your sleep, better habits in your eating, better habits in your working out, translate into better habits into trading as well. So
Yeah.
consider those things, write them down. You know, we have a vision, we have a purpose, we have goals, we have objectives, and we have strategies, right? And tactics. So if you start with a vision, and then you think of your purpose, and then that purpose becomes your goals, and then the goals become your objectives. You have a thing to work on every single day, every single minute of the day, right?
Hmm.
But we're going to be talking about this in length the next year. And as many of you know, we've discussed about this and we've said it before. We're going to be launching next year the Trading Performance Mastery Program
Oh
from
yeah.
E8. It's game changer, not only for traders here in the E8 markets arena or environment, but also in the entire industry, because we're gonna, you know, trading psychology and trading mindset and all those things. It's not that it's wrong; it's just outdated, and it's just a little part of it. It's like, imagine a Lamborghini. Trading psychology is just like, if I showed you the engine of the Lamborghini, you're like, okay, but where's the rest of the car, right? Yeah, without the engine, the car doesn't go. But if you take one thing off of the car, if you take the keys of the car, or one tire, or the gasoline, the car is not actually going to work. So all of that way of thinking is called performance. And psychology is one part of performance that we actually touch on, and uh, and divide, right? And we zoom in very, very interestingly in the first module. We talk about self-image and beliefs, your belief system that has to do with psychology. The other things have to do with performance, like things that we discussed today: doing the things for the right reasons, building good habits, you know uh, diving really, really deep into your edge. Your edge is not only a mathematical statistical advantage, it's also the way you behave. Module 3 has to do with behavior, discipline, patience. Patience is not something that is not willpower. Patience, it's two things: it's concentrated strength, and it's a frequency. And most people get it wrong, like, oh, I'm not patient. Yeah, because you're not in the right frequency to be patient. It's things that, whoa, like, wait, what? Things that are gonna really, really knock your socks off. And we're gonna attack this from the not only the psychological perspective, but also the physiological perspective, which most people don't even know about. We're
Hmm.
going to talk about interoception. We're going to talk about we're going to teach you how important it is to sleep well, to manage risk well. It's incredibly intertwined, the way you sleep with the way you manage risk. Did you know that? That's why when you don't sleep, you feel like you can take, oh, this trade, I can take 100 lots here, because you didn't sleep well, because you're not understanding risk and accepting risk the same way as if you had slept entire night. So yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
a
those
lot.
are very interesting topics that you're going to cover. I mean, they're not covered across, not as much as I would wish, across the YouTube or just the internet. That
Yeah.
basically everyone is teaching the same. You've got technical price action, that indicated and an
Mhm.
indicator, but these topics are
Right.
really untouched.
And also, and the last one thing I want to say, Jake, is this program is 8 modules, right? The first
Hmm.
modules are the first 3 modules is the inner game of trading, which is the thinking, the feeling, and the behaving, right? The second part is about planning, like really understanding expected value, really understanding planning your trade plan. A trade plan has 10 different parts. A trade plan, people think, is like, oh, my trade plan is my rules of engagement, which is how do I, find a trigger in the market. Like that's one of the parts. And I'm reading here, a trading plan has 10 different um, domains, or 10 different divisions: your vision and purpose, your goals and objectives, your schedules and routines, your rules of engagement, your rules of management, your tracking and journaling, practice and study, mindset and health, contingency and liabilities, and rewards and incentives. It's you're right. And it's like, what? That's why it's called trading mastery, right? So that's
Yeah.
number module 4. Modules 5 and 6 have to do with the way you track your results and the way you bring progress and build your performance from the statistical side. Number 6 has to do with all the work ethic that as traders we need to be building. Module 7, it's probably the one that wraps it all around, that has to do with community. Listen, as traders, we like to be on our own, right? Most traders are, introverted. Most traders, like, I feel like I'm an introverted. Like, we want, to not be bothered. We want to be with our charts, with our thing, blah blah blah. But if we are already traders, we're outliers. If you're trying to do this on your own, you're an outlier of an outlier. And there's a very hard chance of us doing this on our own and being successful. We need community. We need to understand how people that are having success are doing things. We need to copy them. We need to copy and see their habits, the way of thinking, the way they behave. And that's why community, it's important. And we're gonna explain all of the reasons why module 7, which is called E8 participate, is important. Did you know that when you help somebody that needs you, right, raises your frequency in a way that you can achieve discipline much better? Did you know that? for example?
Not me.
Yeah. For example, if I'm teaching you trading, if I'm telling you, Jake, you can
Yeah.
move your stop loss, man. Right now that I taught you that, I created what it's called accountability. And if I'm teaching you, I would be
Yeah.
really wrong if I do it myself. Like, do not eat a donut, and I'm eating a donut, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's why we need uh, community, and it's really hard to do this on your own. That's why we're doing the performance trading mastery program as well. And the last module is a culmination of all the archive and the information that we want to share with you guys in the trading universe, right? Has to do with so many more things, but it's a complete commitment for traders. It's 8 modules, which is 8 months, and we're also going to give you performance tools that are completely going to change the way you see trading, the way you see yourself, and the way you trade, right? because
Yeah.
because there's nothing like this out there. I can assure you this. I've been doing this for many years, and I 100% know nobody's doing this. And we've been taking our time, almost 2 years now, in building this from the ground up and writing it from zero to what it is today and what's going to be in the next few months that we're going to launch it. Please stay tuned, because it's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, I guarantee it's gonna be. I just read the message, JV. One more session from you. You feel like someone, like a big brother helping us. Yeah, looking forward actually for their program to be launched. I think, as I said, there are topics that are not covered anywhere on the YouTube or internet. At least I didn't see any when I was learning how to trade. So I'm very excited about this, and traders should be as well. It's going to be.
It's
I
going to be
think it's going
great.
to open completely new doors for them. Like
Yeah, yeah.
type of
It's
a yeah
it's a way to completely transform your trading.
yeah
It's if I have your commitment, you have my word that your trading is going to change. There's no guarantees in trading, and in any
yes
financial industry in the world, in the financial industry, anywhere you can find guarantees of nothing. Actually, life has no guarantees but one, that we're gonna all die, right? That's the only guarantee. Right? That's the only guarantee, 100%. But I can assure you that you will transform your trading, and that's going to reflect in your life. You're going to transform the way you think. You're going to transform the way you see the markets, because you're going to start learning new things, right? Coaching has to do with two main things: introducing new information or new people, right? And the second one is accountability. You are going to become self accountable and accountable to others. And that's going to completely transform the way you engage with the markets.
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kerry, because it was pretty informative session. I thought I learned more than I hoped for. So I hope guys who are watching us learn as much as possible, because you
Yeah,
actually someone who can pass a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. So we'll be definitely happy to have you here again. Let's say maybe once till the end of the year. If not, then definitely in January. Just follow up on
sure.
our session to finish the preparation for 2026. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.
Absolutely. And thank you, Jay. You've done amazing job this year with E8, with this live streams, man. You're great. You're a great trader
Thank
as
you.
well. And I hope people are following your steps and your examples. You've done amazing job, man. And I hope to talk to you all guys in the Discord community, in the trading floor that we have
Yeah.
there. If you want to reach out, on social media as well, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. I'm here to solve problems, and to wish you all a phenomenal 2026 and a great end of the year to you and your families, and all the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah, by the way, guys, just JV said it. If your question wasn't answered, just leave it in the Discord. JV is active in the Discord, so he'll take a look and he'll help you out. Okay, I just wanted
Absolutely.
to add the end. Thank you, JV. Thank
Absolutely.
you, guys. See you soon. Bye
Absolutely.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.